fight of the year, right?
Yeah, fight of the year.
All right,
We'll do
so
women's fight of the year.
all right, all right. I can go and get going on this one. And look, maybe recency bias on this one, but I went back and watched it again. Okay, and it's got to be Aldana versus Hossa.
Oh,
Aldana
interesting.
versus
Okay.
Hossa. So good, man. In the first round, you start off with Hossa with heavy leg kicks. And, it's frustrating because you hear the announcer say, hey, she has no answer for these leg kicks.
Mhm.
But she did. And her answer was like, let me just punch her in the face. Every time she throws
Yeah.
one of these leg kicks, I'm just going to throw a right cross, right? Or I'm going to land a solid jab. And there's a few times that Hossa would throw that leg kick, get punched with a solid jab, and you see her take a couple steps back because it was such a
Yeah.
stiff jab. But then that second round, Aldana lands a cross, and it brought the dog out of Hossa. And
Yeah,
you
dude.
see Hossa start trading too, so she starts mixing it up a lot more. Both of them are landing big shots. Aldana starts landing to the body, right, which brings Hossa's hands down, and then Aldana starts like feigning going to the body, but turns it into a shovel hook that
Oh, yeah,
starts. Oh
beautiful.
my god, it was such an awesome fight! And then as soon as there's about 20 seconds left, you see Hossa just give the nod to
Yeah.
Aldana. And Aldana receives the nod very well, and they just start throwing again the last 20 seconds. It was an insane fight.
That was a
A
good
lot
one.
of damage that fight, right? Both ladies just threw down nonstop. But that would be my female fight of the year.
That's a good pick. Yeah, it's for me. It was a toss up between two. That was going to be an honorable mention for me. Um, but for me, the winner is one we talked about already. The submission of the year, Shevchenko versus Grasso won. Was just
Mm.
fucking awesome, dude. Because Grasso comes out and tags her in the first round, and you're like, oh, what do we got here? Is this going to be competitive? And she takes the first round, and then Shevchenko takes the second round and the third round, and you're like, oh no, but it's still competitive. But it's like clearly she's a leg ahead, and then she
Yeah, yeah.
catches her with that submission, and it's fucking crazy. So it was just like such a high level fight that was eye opening right at the beginning because I expected Shevchenko to beat Grasso no problem, and so the fact that we finally saw Shevchenko lose, and not only did she lose, but she got finished, and I was like, it was crazy. It was such an insane fight for such a big upset, and Grasso was so cool, and she choked her out, and the choke wasn't even under the neck; it was over the chin,
The
and it
chin,
was just
yeah.
pure chaos. When it's like, because you think she's fine here, it's over the chin, she's fine, and then she taps, and you're like, what the fuck? And she takes the arm off. Keith and Toasty are split on our picks, um, but he shakes the arm off, and her chin is like white, like she squeezed the hell
Yeah.
out of her face. It's just so big, and like I went back to tally up our predictions for the year, and um, I was like, I could see Shevchenko losing, but nobody's gonna beat her emphatically. It's gonna be like a weird point fighting fight where she slightly gets edged out. No one's ever gonna submit her. No one's gonna knock her out. And then here we are, her first title defense of the year. Grasso comes in and submits her. It's just craziness. Um, it just yeah, both awesome
And
fights. Both awesome fights.
it,
It's like, what do you want? Do
the
you want the stakes and the technique, or do you want the fucking banger raw? How far can the human will go? And that's
yes,
Hossa versus Aldana, and it's like both of them showed
so
that
good,
the dichotomy
so
of the
good, man.
sport. You know,
And
fucking awesome
you
fights.
see the agony of defeat as soon as she taps, because the way that Shevchenko tapped, I'll never forget. Because
Yeah,
she's like, tap, tap, and then she
yeah,
sits up pissed off after she lets go. The ref stops it, and you could just see like she was like, "Should I let my jaw break right now? Should I not?"
yeah.
And oh, dude, it was just
And the same
insane. It
thing
was
with
such a solid
Aldana
fight.
Hossa. Aldana Hossa at the end of the fight. Aldana puts her hand up, and you can see Hossa in the background, a bloody mess, just standing there with her head down, dejected. And you're just fucking. Both fights
Oh, it's so
really
crazy.
showcase like everything
What
the
a
sport is
sport!
about.
What a
Yeah,
sport, dude.
it's
No other
crazy.
sport like
Just
it. It's
just
insane.
bleed.
Just bleed gods. Absolutely
Yeah,
shining down on that one. All right. So now we're going on to the male fight of the year, right?
yeah.
So Will, I told you I'm an emotional guy. A lot of times I see these fights, and if they mean so much more, it's something that just sticks to me, right?
Mhm.
And it's something I remember for a long time. In some cases, I continue playing a fighter's walkout song over and over again for an extended period of time. So you probably know
Yeah.
which one I'm talking about now, right?
I don't. I still don't.
What? Max Holloway versus Korean Zombie.
That's your fight of the
This
year.
that's my fight of the year,
Man, that's a
dude.
good pick, man. I cried in the morning in bed watching that because it was
Dude,
the
it's
time zone.
so good, dude. It's so good.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
a
have
good
Max
pick.
Holloway, right? And I feel like at this point, every time Max Holloway fights, it's a question of how much longer will Max have it? Because he's been
Mhm.
doing it for so long. He started in the UFC in his early 20s. He's been fighting for what 10 years in the
Yeah,
UFC
gotta
at the
be.
highest level, one of the best featherweights to ever do it. Um, and after losing to
Anderson
Volkanovski the
still hard
first
as
couple
fuck.
times, he lost those first couple times, and both times I thought to myself, Holloway won those fights.
Toss-up fights for sure.
And
Super
then
close.
the last one against Volkanovski, you're like, holy shit, Volk is in an entire another level that I never thought was possible above Max Holloway. So now it's like, well, what does Max Holloway have left in the tank? Is he ever going to be able to be in title contention again?
Well, because you
And
wonder, is this Max losing a step or is it Volk is just that
yes,
great? And you're like, what's
exactly.
next? Yeah.
Exactly. So we have him going up against Korean Zombie. Korean Zombie's been doing this for a long time too, a legend of the sport, right? It's a banger right off the bat, but you see Holloway that's really outstriking Korean Zombie.
Mhm.
He's just faster than Korean Zombie, getting to him a lot faster. And then that third round comes out, and you realize that Korean Zombie just said, "Fuck it, I'm
Yeah.
all in at this point, right? I'm
Damn,
not
getting
going to win off
goosebumps right now.
points." Yeah, and so I'm just going to give it all. And he goes out there just swinging and banging, man, with reckless abandon, throwing
Yeah.
shots.
And
Max
Max
Holloway
is there
catches
for
him,
it.
and he catches him as he's spinning. Remember? And
Mhm.
he spins and gets knocked down, falls. Max with the walk off KO. The post fight interview is extremely emotional. The entire crowd, thousands and thousands of people singing along to Korean Zombie's walkout song.
God, the
Korean Zombie
zombies.
walking out of the octagon, man, looking
Right when the
around.
chorus hits.
Yes, and you hear the chorus
God.
blasting because everybody's singing along, and he's just smiling, looking at the crowd, like, dude, they're there for me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And for me, that was such a huge moment that it made the fight for me like the most memorable fight of the year for me.
Yeah, that's a good pick, dude. That's a solid pick. Damn. That gave me
Sorry,
goosebumps
dude, I just
watching the
went off
fight.
right now because, like, dude, just talking about it, I started getting
Yeah,
goosebumps.
same, dude. God, what a
Oh,
moment. I was
man.
literally in bed crying watching that in the
Dude,
morning.
it's
It was like
insane.
9 AM.
It's
Oh,
insane.
man. Yeah, that's gonna be tough to beat. For me, this is always fight of the year, men's fight of the year. Always, I go back and forth with like, you know, storylines with highly skilled fight or just fucking a banger through and through. The Just Bleed gods are appeased. Which one do I give it to? I almost gave it to the skill one, which was Islam Makhachev versus Volkanovski 1.
Mm,
I thought that
yes.
was the highest level fight of the year by
Such a good fight.
far. Very good fight. Volt going up in weight against a boogeyman in Islam, and still holding his own in the grappling. Very cool transitions, trading rounds, insane reads getting picked up on by both fighters. Just so high level, but I couldn't give it to that one because we got that. We got a banger and we got emotional in Pantoja versus Moreno. I got to give it
Oof.
to that one because you know, they have fought before. Pantoja has beaten him twice, right? Ultimate Fighter, and then early on, and then was there a draw involved? I don't think so.
No, I
I
think that
think
was against
Pantoja has a
Figueiredo.
number. Yeah, yeah. Moreno. But Moreno's the champ. He just beat Figueredo again, and
He
Pantoja
leveled
comes
up.
in. He leveled up since their first fight. It's their first fight
Yeah.
and their second fight. Like, what's going to happen here? And Pantoja has been trying to get a title shot for so long, but it's been held up because of Figgy versus Moreno. Fought 4 fucking times, and you're like, he finally gets his shot. It's a guy he's beaten before, but is he a different person? Yes. So what's going to happen? And you have Moreno coming out with that championship swagger and confidence, and it's fucking so cool to see with such a cool guy. And he comes out and they put on a fight for the ages. They're swanging and banging. There's insane back takes and submission threats and transition from Pantoja. And then there's just an ungodly chin on display from both fighters because they're just cracking each other. But it's a technical brawl, which is
Oh, what
fucking
a division.
amazing, right? And then we talk about with Hosa and Aldana, sometimes the sport strips you down to see how far a human being can go. When they're pushed to the brink, it's like their body thinks this is life or death. It might be a sport that we're watching, but the body doesn't know that. All the body knows is that you're losing blood, you have head trauma, you're exhausted, but your mind can push you through it if you're tough enough. And there's something about that that brings something out of you. And at the end of the fight, Pantoja gets the belt and he takes a mic and he says, "Are you proud of me now, Dad?" And you're just like,
Oh,
"Oh
brutal,
my
dude.
fucking God,
So
dude."
brutal.
After that fight, you see,
Oh,
and he's just he has no energy left when he says it. He's just blank stare. There's blood coming out of his hair. He's cut up. It was just a fight for the ages, and everything surrounding. We got a technical aspect. We got the brawl. We got to see someone go life and death in there. We had a backstory. It was just, I mean, for me, that's
oh,
fight of the
such a
year.
good pick. Such a good
Fucking
pick.
banger, dude.
Oh,
Banger
man.
fight.
To
Flyweight. I
think
fucking
about all
love
these
flyweight.
different fights that we're talking
God.
about, man, and like I'll mention something, you're like, damn, that's a good pick. You mention something, I'm
Yeah.
like, God, that's a good pick. Like, how can you not watch MMA
Yeah.
year round? You know?
Yeah. Beautiful
Oh
stuff.
man.
And then honorable mentions, like I said, Makhachev versus Volkanovski obviously is up there. Gaethje Fiziev was fucking awesome. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jeff Neal was incredible.
Oh, that's a good one.
There's been some good ones. Hooker versus Turner we talked about was a banger also. Nice comeback win for Hooker. Very good fights this year.
Yes.
Very good fights.
Very good.
And then
All
I
right.
think was Lineker versus Andrade 2? Was that this year? I think it was early in the year. That was
Yeah.
a fucking awesome fight.
That was a good one too.
It's been a good year. It's been a real good year. Kazakhstan versus Soldic we talked about earlier with a crazy
2024
comeback.
better step his game up, dude. Hey everybody, Romero and Will here. Thank you so much for watching that short clip. It's just a small clip of what we covered this last Sunday.
Yeah, if you want to check out the full fight card recap, the link is in the description, and it's going to be on screen at the end here. Don't forget to go back and watch our fighter interviews that we have. And don't forget to tune in live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, and you can join in on the fun.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Goes a long way. All right, everybody, thanks for watching that short clip from Story of the Fight.